Thank you so much for joining us here at WCQR's Good News. I'm Christian Studer, and we're here with Madeline Gosey. She is a local high school teacher, and we are going to be talking about the concerns, the issues, as well as some good things, some hope, some good news that is happening right now in our community. What do you wish parents knew about what the struggles were as a teacher, especially right now, because you're having to learn a lot more than you would normally learn. That maybe it's behind the scenes, maybe it's not. But what is the one thing that you wish we knew?
Yeah. For virtual learning, one thing that was really frustrating was I spent hours recording videos of myself showing how to do, for parents and students, how to do all the programming, how to find information out, how I videoed lessons for the students. I wrote emails. I tried to make it as self-explanatory as possible, but I still had parents reach out to me and ask me questions that I knew if they would have just read the email, then they would have gotten the answer to it. So I would say a huge way you can bless your teachers is to make sure you look at everything they sent you. Make sure you're watching the videos. I could go back and see how many people watched the videos, and I'm like, well, there we go. Like, that's why no one knew what was going on.
Yeah.
So watch the videos that they record, because that takes time. Look at the emails, read the emails fully before you send questions, and maybe even phrase emails as, "Hey, I read through this. I still don't understand it fully. Can I still have explanation?" So I think there's so much behind the scenes in just preparing and setting up the curriculum, not even teaching it or the curriculum itself, just communicating with parents of what needs to happen. What took a lot of time, and I think it doesn't look like it took a lot of time, but it really did. And so that was a huge blessing for me when parents were like, "Hey, I watched this and I got it," or "Hey, I watched this and I still have questions." It shows me, okay, they made some effort to figure out the question themselves. Was really, really helpful. So I'm trying to think of other things for virtual learning. I think a lot of the virtual learning was I had to create as I went. So it wasn't curriculum that I could just pull out of my pocket. Probably a new teacher thing, but also I work with a lot of awesome people that have given me a lot of stuff too. But we teach a lot of stuff in class where we are doing group activities and we're doing hands-on stuff that you just can't do virtually. So there was a lot of recreating curriculum, there was a lot of finding new curriculum, and that took a lot of time. So I think just encouraging your kids to use the curriculum their teachers put together, to know that there's work being done, that none of us were sitting and watching shows or doing whatever we want to do. We were all working.
Yeah, you
I
weren't
joked
binge watching Tiger King?
No. I even joked, like, I worked more than I usually do, like, in a normal day, because kids were learning all hours of the day. I'd get emails at 3 a.m. I would not answer them, but I got emails at 3 a.m. and I got emails at 7 in the morning from kids. And then I would say for going back to school, there is so much responsibility that a teacher takes when you as a parent have given up your kids, saying, "I trust you with my child and I trust you with their health and their education and just who they are." And I've had so much thought process of, how am I going to keep the room clean? How am I going to make sure that kids are interacting in a positive social distance way? How am I going to set up my room? How am I going to change my room? I know teachers are struggling with, I have tables, I don't have desks, so how do I do that? Thinking about, do we have enough hand sanitizer in the room? Do we have enough Clorox wipes we can use? And unfortunately, that right now is like a gold. Like, if you find it, you can sell it for lots of money. But it's just, there's so much being thought. And then there's the whole element of, how am I going to teach? How am I going to be able to teach in a positive way to equip these kids with education that I'm supposed to and that I love and I want to share with them. And I am such, like, I show so much emotion in my face. I'm a history teacher, so I talk about dead things all the time. So I have to bring life to it some way. So having a mask on my face is going to be really hard. The kids, not being able to read the kids, you can tell so much from their face, and having their faces covered is going to be really hard too. So I think there's so much thought process of, how am I going to create a classroom that is welcoming to kids? It's terrifying. I mean, I'm thinking of, like, the elementary school students who are going to walk in with teachers wearing masks. You can't see them, and it's hard to, like, trust someone you can't see. And So we're thinking about that. We're trying, I know our people above us are thinking about that too. We're kind of in a situation where none of us know what to do and things are changing so much. And so we're trying, know that like we love your kids. We want to protect them as much as possible. And we're thinking through the best ways we can do that every day. And we're trying to do that as best we can.
Awesome. So now kind of to piggyback off that, so what do you see as far as the biggest what do you wish parents knew about the potential struggles for their kids? I know I've thought about it, like if my kid was to go to school. I mean, my son Ezra, he's 7, so he's second. I believe he's going into second grade. I probably should know that, right? So for him trying to keep a mask on, he's very like hugging on people. He loves loving on people. So I mean, honestly, we're afraid that he wouldn't. I mean, he would want to hug on people, and trying to tell someone that is like, hey, come give me a hug, I love you, that they can't do that is hard as a parent. But that was just something personally that we were kind of struggling with. But is there, something that you see that as a big thing that the kids are going to be struggling with that we as parents need to know or need to potentially address, with our kids?
Yeah. I think one of the biggest, like especially for the older kids, I'm not sure as much as the younger kids, but there's this like entitlement, like I don't need to wear a mask, I don't need to be careful. I'm like, high schoolers think that they're like just invincible and they can do whatever they want. Yes. And nothing will harm them. And even if I tell them, I have to show them some like medical researcher person or someone who's done smarter than I am for them to believe me. But I think just like really trying to speak into your kids, like look at this as an opportunity to love and serve other people around you by you wearing a mask and you washing your hands and you not, like, kids love to share stuff, share drinks, share phones, share food, share like clothes even. And so just trying to make them aware of like, when you don't hug someone or when you don't go and like put your arm around them or put your mouth all over the water fountain or don't wash your hands, it creates opportunity for this virus to spread. It creates opportunity for people to get sick. And so a way that you can love our community and love each other is to do these things and follow these guidelines and trust that there are people that that value you and value your health and are smarter than you, that have said that these things are good and that these things should be followed. But I think one of the hardest things is friends. Like, kids love school. I've heard this so many times. Kids love school because they get to see their friends. Yep. And a lot of them this summer have not been able to go see their friends. And so I can just see this massive wave of like, let's all hang out and be together, and trying to encourage other ways of being with each other and being social without like being physically with each other. Yeah. So if that's, hey, maybe you try to keep some distance with your friends at school, but let's go to a park and hang out there, or let's do some video conferencing at home. Well, not conferencing, that's the wrong word, but just FaceTiming your friends, or encouraging. I mean, social media is a huge outlet for them right now to see their friends. And so as much as we hate it, it's also a gift right now too. Yeah. So trying to have a little bit more grace, you're going to have to make a little bit more effort to go see people and go to parks and go spend time with people in a social distancing way, because they're not going to be able to do that as much as school. So that's something that I can see being a huge problem. And I think like just having patience, it's going to be frustrating for the kids. There's probably going to be more behavior issues because there's a lot more frustration. I know wearing those masks creates a lot of heat, and when kids are hot and there's already frustration, it just escalates the situation. So I think using this up as an opportunity for them to like be patient. Maybe they come home from school and they're really frustrated because of how the day went and that they weren't able to talk to their teacher like they normally do, or hang out with their friends, and just having grace, giving them time to cool down or do something.
So now what can we do as a community to come around the teachers? I mean, we're in this season of prayer right now. We're in the season of uncertainty, but we want to, as a community, to come around our teachers, to come around the staff, to come around the students, and to come around the parents, to make sure that though this experience is different than we've ever experienced before. What can we do as a community to make it, to maybe even leverage this so that it cannot just be a thing that we are dealing with, but something that we are actually thriving through?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think a lot of it comes back to just trying to be as much like unified as much as we possibly can. I make the mistake sometime of going on social media and looking at, as soon as a school district posts what they're going to do, looking at the comments, and there's so much division in those comments of like we don't trust the school systems, they're making poor decisions, to every kid should be wearing masks, to like just so many different things, so many different opinions, so much negativity. And if we can be as unified as possible, trust that the school systems are doing as much as they possibly can with the knowledge. I mean, they're protecting themselves, they're protecting their kids, they're protecting so many different people. So there's so much. I would not want to make those decisions. But trying to trust them, trying to also speak that in front of your kids. So much. I've seen our students, they hear their parents and the way they talk about stuff, and they just say it. They say anything that they hear. So when you talk negatively about the school systems or about what our community is or is not doing, your kids are going to have that perspective too. So as parents, trying to speak in a way that is beneficial. But I think using this time to like really teach your kids about faith, teaching them about a greater plan. As a history teacher, like there's so many different things that we as humanity has been through, and we've survived, and we've thrived even. And it's cool to even see these blips of different things in our community that people are using this as an opportunity to better each other, to spend more time with each other. It's really awesome. COVID's not awesome, but just to see people step through is really amazing. So if we can just use this opportunity to teach patience and to teach forgiveness and grace, and just like leaning into scripture when we are in fear, and teaching our kids to just like arm themselves in those things and go in. I mean, it's kind of like a battle. Like it's just, we don't know what we're expecting and everything, but just like, I know I, as myself, have grown so much as in my relationship with Jesus in times of adversity and in times of hardship. And we can operate in a spirit of confidence, knowing that Jesus is so much greater and not in a spirit of fear. I know for myself, like if I operate in a spirit of fear, people around me, my family is going to operate in a spirit of fear. And so just making sure that we try to support each other in that we trust each other when we're making decisions. And I think it can foster really awesome relationships, really awesome community that we have not been able to, and faith that we wouldn't have had if we hadn't had this situation. None of us really know what's going on. We're about to start school and we still don't know exactly what's going on, but just trying to like let the things of tomorrow not worry us today, and trying to just focus on what's going on today. I've kind of like blocked it out and been like, okay, I'm just gonna worry. I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm just gonna think about it when I need to. And I think just trusting our community to make decisions right now is so important. And I know I've said that already, but just trusting the teachers, trusting administration, trusting school systems just to make good decisions. Because I cannot tell you how much conversation I've had that's surrounded what are we doing in the school systems? What's going on? I agree, I disagree. And just trying to have as much faith in that as possible, but also do what's best for your family as well. If you don't feel comfortable, I think most of the school systems in our area are offering online learning, so just take that option if that's what you feel like is best, and just try to operate in the best way you can with the knowledge you have, and come what may. So we'll see what happens.
Thank you so much for listening or watching WCQR's Good News. And if you're not watching, if you're listening right now, we are on YouTube. You can follow us and subscribe at WCQR FM and see our Good News videos every single week. This week, Madeline talked about the schools. She talked about specific issues and struggles that teachers and parents are going to be facing, but she also addressed the hope the good stuff that is happening right now, because we need to focus on that. There's so much negativity. There's so many struggles that we need to look for that hope, look for that good news, and focus on that. We love y'all, and see you next week.